You can make a repository, you know, at some point we might, but I really want to get you guys.
Are we still working on?
Yes, or, well, you shouldn't be working on inputting content at this point.
Well, I mean, like, are we still focusing on that? If I already got that. that's
Well,
fine.
good. So just get your homepage open in WordPress, in your WordPress site, and get your 5XX site open so that we can just start moving forward. Because what we're going to do is a mobile first approach. Go down. We're going to start with about. We're going to open it up to our breakpoints, and we're going to make any adjustments that we feel need to be made. And I'll get there in a second, and you'll get what I'm saying. Essentially, what we're going to do is what we were doing where we left off on Tuesday. So here's where I'm starting. For those of you that I potentially just confused the living crap out of. Right, I'm going to get my 5XX open first. That hopefully you're at the point where you're pulling in this stuff, right? And I think 502 is there for you. Like, you should be pulling in at 502, I think. Yes. So get that open, then go to your me. Then if you don't have a me, go ahead and use your other site. I don't care. Go ahead and use whatever you have that's WordPress. Go to your admin into your pages.
By the way, they did answer.
What'd they say?
They said they found stuff in the two of them. But,
So they went and grabbed it for you. See, they're awesome.
well, they said that I have some stuff to do. They would do some things and check some things before you can move forward.
That's
So I
awesome.
haven't had a chance to.
But that's what I like
and
about
it's-
them.
And it's 2 files, and it's 2 of the domains that I don't need. So I'm just gonna.
Blow them away. That's what I like about them. If you're nice to them, they will. They don't have to do that. As a matter of fact, they could bill you for doing that. Right, but they would let you know first. But I've been with them 15 years, and they have never billed me for anything. And I'm talking, I had them working for hours at times, you know.
We're supposed to meet at 3. So I'll tell you then.
Okay. Gonna go to my pages. If you do not have these pages set up, this is what I want you to do. Create a welcome to me page. Under it, I want you to create a home page. Let's just start there. It's welcome to me page. We're not going to get into it now, but we can actually, we can make it that people can't access it from the WordPress site, which is cool. You can say these pages are only accessible through the API, which is awesome, because then you don't have clients overlapping and things like that, you know. God, I'll stop eating these. We are recording for anybody who needs, right? Wait a minute and go one more step. If you're waiting for me and you don't have these pages, create the rest of you. Welcome me. because you're going to be pulling them in. The home page, or I thought I was going to.
Looks like Travis got hacked well.
All right. So right now what you should have on your homepage is basically a div container, cover splash, named cover splash. Should definitely have the container, the class container, and text center, text dash center on it. They're both Bootstrap, right? Classes. Text center, what's cool, it's, it's a Bootstrap class that'll make sure that your text is centered within the container that the class is applied to. Because we're going mobile first, our image, right, that we're using right now until later. I keep trying to use, and I can't because I've been doing it all day.
What's the,
I don't even feel like an idiot anymore. It's been so much. Move up here.
all right, well, I can just tell me what it is.
No, come up here. It's Container Text Dash Center is the classes.
No, I meant for the ID. I can't tell if that's in blue or
CVR.
CVR.
It's in Slack.
Will the HTTPS be a problem with the placeholder image? I remember we had a problem with it.
You're right, Jimmy. We should put that in there.
Don't mention it. Don't mention it.
And then make sure you're accessing your site as well, HTTPS. I mean, it won't have that effect that way, but might as well. Make sure that you're in there. All right, so I put the code for homepage in there. Here's what I want you to do. Go back out to pages after you update your homepage code. Under here, you should be able to, if you have nested pages, you should be able to just say add child page. And you can actually add multiple child pages when you add a child page. I want you to add about, experience, education, skills, interests, awards, contact. I'm going to take a screenshot of the pages I want you to add and put it in there so I can start pushing us ahead. I'm going to start sharing stuff in Slack, so please go out to Slack if you need this stuff. Where the hell snag it go? That's rude. Image.
When you add a child, you create a child page?
Yep. Where you just create child pages underneath. Welcome to me.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
All right. And I'm going to put this image into Slack on the pages that you want to, and I'm going to put code out there that I want you to put in each one of the pages then. See if that'll let me put that directly in there. There's a picture in Slack now of the pages that you want to create. You should be able to just click on and open and see what they are.
Is it normal to have twice as many pages now?
What's that?
Is it normal to have twice as many pages now?
What do you mean?
So when I added the child to the welcome to me,
Mhm.
look like it just copied them over.
I'm not sure.
I should delete like the extra ones. The children should stay.
Whatever. And you can move those ones underneath, right? You can drag and drop the page and nest it underneath welcome if you already have them created. And so that picture is out there in Slack right now of the pages that you should have under welcome to me. Yeah, you can drag and drop them, Jimmy. So that's home. We're not even worried about what's in welcome to me. You don't even have to put any really, because we're not pulling that page. We're saying parent, right, is a child of that page in our call. Then what you're putting in all the other pages, when you get them created, go into each one of those pages. Put in exactly what I'm telling you to put in, just giving you to put in. We're going to start off at all 12s. So essentially, let's do it this way too. Large 12, medium 10. You can figure it out from here. But what I'm giving you is the basic bootstrap layout that you need formatted that it hopefully makes sense for you, right? Put that in each one of your pages so that you have content when you pull it out, so you can at least see something representative in that spot. While you're doing that, I'm actually going to go set up your scenario that I'm asking you to do right now.
Including the home page.
The homepage, we just put that in, wrote the other stuff in. So let that ride, because that has the image and whatever that we want, correct?
Yeah.
I'm literally doing everything I'm asking you to do right now. I'm setting up I'm right where you are. About education.
Skills. Interests. Awards.
class demo, I have them all under here or there. I'm going to take what I have in my home because we already talked about that. Copy that. This class demo. Did I lose it?
Under IOP HTML5. Common. Oh,
No, that shouldn't be there. It should be class demo.
yeah, I thought you put it under.
There it
That's
is.
what I meant.
Got it. All right, so that's home, about, experience, education, skills, interests, awards, contact. This is how a developer would do this, by the way. I'll bring this out here now. I know I have those pages back there. I can Alt-Tab, and the first one I'm interested in is home. So I can come over here to welcome to me. I can go home, about, experience, education, skills, interest, awards, contact, so that they can all load so they're ready for me when I'm ready to be there. I'm going to go in my home, click in there, select all, click in there. Come on. Select all, copy, close the window, go back over to here, paste this in here, make sure I'm in text, update. And next thing I want is about. Well, I know that my abouts, I'm going to start where you're starting. So I'm going to go grab the code that I gave you to start with. And that'll be nice because I know that all I have to do is paste this in the next couple pages. So this will be about, update, experience, update, education, update, painter, skills, update, interest, update, awards, update, contact, update. I want to come back here. These should all be updated. It looks like they are. Awesome. I'm going to say close all to write. I'm going to go bounce over here to my other page. Let's see, close all to write. This is the only one that I really want open anymore. I'm going to drag this over to here. That way I'm back where I was. I'm looking at my pages. And the big thing here for me at this point, you don't have to do this, but I have to set mine up this way real quick because of the fact that I got to manipulate the Ajax call so that I can pull those sample pages in that I created. So I'm just going to real quick set myself up for overrides. That, select a new folder. In this case, I'm just going out to downloads, new folder, 40. Select, allow, over here to page. Save for overrides, assets, app.js, save for overrides, CSS. We don't even have CSS in there yet. We've figured that out the other day. All right. I have my window. I'm setting my window up here to 3. I think I'm going to do 340. Around 340. I know that I have all that because, right, I'm already good. I'm going to come to my app.js. And we all should, all of our app.js should look like this. Don't want to know if yours does or doesn't. Here it comes. We have no reason to not have it done now. when I look at my app.js, one of the things I can see, and honestly, I have it marked as a var up here. When in reality, I probably would want to use what in this scenario? Does anybody know? Huh? Why?
Because you don't want somebody changing it on you.
Right. I just, it is what it is. I want it as a const. I'm going to go over here to my WordPress site. I'm not using welcome to me. I'm going to collapse this so I don't get confused. I'm going to hover over my class demo, which yours would be welcome to me. And I'm going to look down in the bottom left corner. We can see the link that if I click it, it's going to take me somewhere. And in my case, I can see that my number is 782. My ID number is 782. Yours is going to be something different. But what you need that ID number for is right here. 782. If I hit save and I refresh, what I'm hoping I see at this point is that. So I'm getting exactly what I was hoping to see. Content, right? And I don't have the class assignment set up yet, but I will be setting it up after class and wanting you to submit this. So please work along or watch the video and get it caught up. It'll be 3 days out that you have to submit it. And that's how it's going to work with class assignments. You have 3 days to get it in, or 0. No in between. Especially because I share a lot of the code. All right, so we know that we're essentially doing a AJAX call. We're reaching out, we're grabbing the pages that have the parent ID of the ID that's up here. We're bringing it back in here, and we're just doing DOM injections to get them in, correct? We're setting up our menu items as well, right? Honestly, the DOM injection is as simple as this, right? It's pretty easy. The page, we're pushing it in, main HTML, right? And we're just pushing it in there. What we're really focused on at the moment, though, is this. We're starting here. Make sure that your menu works. The way you want it to. If I come out and we be really fair about things, what you can do is you can say that you want to work responsive. I mean, with the editor thing, right? With the, and you can go to iPhone if you would like. For anybody who would like to work in that view. If you change the view, I would suggest just refreshing a little bit. So let's start our responsive design. Let's all agree to do this. Let's do it like this. We're going to use iPhone X, iPad, let's go ahead and use like laptop with touch, just for the hell of it. Because one of the things we're going to want to be addressing as we go through this is not just how it looks in the screen, but we are going to end up throwing jQuery touch in here so that when you open it with a phone, right, it's not jerky. If you open this up with your phone right now, it'd probably be a little jerky. Some things will be a little jerky because touch is not right? Gestures are not built into our site, and we want to pull gestures into our site so that when you do certain things, you get certain experience that you would expect in a phone. So what I would challenge you to do is, first of all, recognize that at this point, right, we have, we're pretty happy with the way that that initial screen looks there. I think we're okay with the way that that looks. If we're not, where might we not be? If my name were Poindexter, Pukenlaken, Fukenfaken, might I have a problem here? See how tight our name is,
Oh,
right? So if your name is longer, you could, you might have an issue. So you might want to actually start off with a smaller font on your heading or something like that. One of the other things I want to do, which I think is awesome, is that if you notice, I currently have no style CSS, which means I am 100% committed to Bootstrap at the moment, which is pretty cool if you think about it. And so therefore, meaning I can interchange this a lot, right? I can interchange theming pretty easily. I can go out the theme roller, put something together, slap it on here, and there we go, right?
Question.
Yes.
Isn't one of the things for this that it automatically changed the font size,
With Bootstrap, yes.
correct? So you put a longer name, wouldn't it automatically decrease the?
I don't know about that, though. Let me see. I really don't
I'm
think
just
so.
asking.
Yeah, I don't think so, Don.
I just remember in one of the assignments they were talking about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me check it. Yeah, I didn't think so. I think that we have a Bootstrap, right, for font size. I think we have a class, and we're going to pull open up Bootstrap because you're going to be using it. We're all going to vary different on differences here as you explore and play. I don't expect you to exactly match mine. Bootstrap, dynamic font. So this is what I would look for, Don, to your question, dynamic font size. How to create responsive text, Bootstrap responsive text size. Our good friend, Stack Overflow, right? Simplest way, use dimensions and percentage, right? We got that. What about Bootstrap? Is there a class? I thought there was a class.
Pure CSS.
Yeah. Is that what you're finding too? That's what I'm finding. Here's somebody. So that answers it for us, right? When I'm looking for something like this and I run into this, I pretty much know what the answer is that I wanted. With Bootstrap 4, add the responsive font size feature, please, right? And so SAS maps are good. But honestly, at the end of the day, yeah, see, we're not into less and things like that. So at this point, Don, probably what I would do is this might be our first lick of CSS. And with it being our first lick of CSS, honestly, those of you that can do it, I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to go out to my step 502, add a styles.css if you're working out of the browser. Won't let you add. And I want a style sheet to work on what I'm doing. So I'm going to go and add it since I keep pulling out of my server to do the work. I want to go ahead and just add it. I could do it local if I wanted to, but I feel like this will actually be faster. I'm just going to go to 502. All the steps. Holy crap. They're glad I signed up for hosting there. I think I have like 400 subdomains. Assets, CSS, new file, file.css, create. Got up in there. I'm going to link my index.html to it so it's just linked. Come up in here. File.css. Save. And hopefully I'm back in business here. Refresh. Sources. Pages. Assets. CSS. Damn it. Empty cache. Still didn't bring it down. Why didn't it bring it down? Let's see. Maybe we need to add a style. Assets, CSS, style.css. Make sure I didn't spell it styles. Style.css. Editor. I'm just going to add something in there and force, hopefully that'll force it to play reindeer games. Well, good for you. I'm actually just going to say HTML, and I'm going to start right out of the gate because we're talking font size. So I'm going to say font size, and I'm going to go after, you're welcome to go after whatever you would like, but I'm going to say 100%. Looks like it applied. It looked like some of my stuff jumped, right? Oh, you got to be kidding me. Overrides, turn them off. Goodbye. Refresh. Page, I'm in step 502. CSS, page, assets. There it is. Overrides. Select an override folder. That's where I'll go. That's where I'll allow. I'm back in there. Assets, save for overrides. Overrides. Assets, CSS, JSS. Good. I'm back in business. So now at this point, because I am doing overrides in my CSS, remember the HTML will not process, but my CSS, I believe, should actually, right? See how I get immediate results. At the level of HTML, I think it's best if you're going to establish font size there to call it 100%. But at that point, it's kind of silly because you're just re-declaring what browser is already declaring, right? But we'll leave it at that for now. And then we can start, right, Don, if your name were bigger there, we could inspect that, you know, if you're dealing with that. We can go inside here. We can say, so I think nav brand is a pretty exclusive. And so we could actually take that class. I don't want to change mine. I'm happy with mine the way it is. But if you want to change yours, you could come in here to sources and you could say .nav brand. And you could say font size. And maybe it's a little too long for you, right? I believe you could say it's a little too long for you. So we could say 90% and bring it down. Or maybe your name is larger. I mean, a real tiny name. And you're like, I kind of want it. I want it to take up more, you know? You could come in and play with it that way too. So, well, for fun, I'll leave it at 120.
What do they do in the field? Because you know that other people's names are.
Well,
You have really long names.
it's up to the client, right? It's a preference thing. It really is. There's no specific. The specific is take as close to the browser defaults as you can, because when you do that, right, you're introducing less opportunity for things to screw up.
I guess what I'm asking, Ryan, is what if it's a variable name? You know.
Well, if it's a variable name, we write a JavaScript for it that actually looks at it if we don't want it to wrap, and it dynamically assigns percentage value to it. Right. So there are. I mean, there's classes out there. There's JavaScript classes, little libraries out there that you can get that says fit font, right? And then you say, I want whatever's in here to fit only this. Some people, let's say, you know, Spanx wants to put your full name on this menu, and there's other things that come out, and there's only that much space. I'm not saying they do, but they could be like, you know what, screw it. Only show what shows. Don't wrap it. Don't wrap it. Some people will say reduce it only until it's equal to or greater than, or basically say if it's less than 12 point, chop off their last name and just put their first name. You know, so there's just so many things that you'll do with that dynamic. Ultimately, you usually leave enough room. You try to make sure when it's dynamic that you're leaving enough room to handle a common length, right? Like maybe 100 characters, something like that. Yeah. So at this point, we're looking at this. We got 150 out here. We know that looks pretty good. One of the things that we don't really like about this is we can manipulate our HTML, which is great, or we can go at it a different way. And that different way to me is essentially, if I inspect this image, what I could do with this div, I could go ahead, and I think I can do this. I'm going to give it a shot. I could go ahead and I'm going to explore with this, because what I want to do is I want to manipulate my images, right, in a way that I'm as responsive as I can be. And because of that, a lot of times, so let me back out of that for a second. Let's leave the class down there in the image itself, down here. I didn't want to change that. Refresh. Hang on. Hopefully it didn't save that. It didn't. If I don't do it through CSS and I want to flip-flop the images, I either need to have, right, a source group of images, which becomes, honestly, not hard to manage, but it just becomes kind of cumbersome. But really what I would want to do with this image is I want to come in here, I want to edit it as HTML, I want to take this image and I want to say div. We'll just kind of start here. We'll do it like this. Let's give it an ID of profile IMG. We can get rid of that alt. But basically, without having to go back to WordPress yet, right, I can stand in here and play with this. So now all of a sudden I have this, there's no image in there. But what I can do now is I can come over here. I know that I got that profile image, background. We can just use background. URL. Put that in there. Width 150 px. Height 150 px. Do I? HE. So I'm getting this back, right? But I'm getting it back in a way that I don't have to keep going back and manipulating the HTML. Again, we have content and then we have code. We want our code to take care of things and we want our content to just be manageable without having to go back there and like change everything. What we build into our HTML back there is a little button in our WordPress that says profile image in it, right? So the user, they can't write the HTML code, but what they can do is they can click this button that says, I want to put my profile image in here, kind of thing. We'll go ahead. We have profile image. We established height and width. Let's, I think we can do margin auto on this one. We can, and we're right back where we started. So I can go ahead. I can take this, and this becomes valuable in a little bit, right? Because in a little bit, we're going to want that image to be different based on whatever it is we're doing. And so therefore, that's what I'm looking for. I'm like looking all over for my button. And so therefore, what we have in here is we initially have,
Go back to that. Back to the code you used. CSS. Yeah, div at profile.
yeah, it's just
Oh,
a selector. It's just saying it's the div with the ID. You can take that out too if you want. It don't matter.
oh, it looked like an at symbol.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's the pound sign.
Okay, my fault. Sorry, hold on. That's why I was questioning it. With
Okay. So profile image, right? And then you can go back to your HTML. And right now, what we can see is we have this image circle in here. We can go and replace that. And why are we keeping code in two places? Can anybody tell me? What do you mean cover our ass? You're right. But explain that to me. Show me that you didn't just pull that out of your ass. Fair enough.
Because if one goes wrong on one, we have it backed up on another.
Okay, I think I hear you saying the right thing. I'm going to re-say it in a different way. Cool.
Is it almost like putting a second checkpoint to alter protocol or something? Like if all hell breaks loose, it'll reach a wall where the website's still kind of running? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's exactly right, Jimmy. So here's the thing, right? You're building this website right now. And you're like, okay, great. I'm building it, but I don't want to have to keep coming in and manipulating the code all the time. But at the same time, if somebody doesn't have JavaScript and it's the CEO of this company that is researching me as the potential CFO or CIO, and they go to my website and they can't get to any of my information, I got a problem. So the beautiful part about this, and we'll test this then, and we'll kind of go through it then. If we turn JavaScript off, we should still get a result. Because everything we're doing to this site in Dynamics, right, is driven by JavaScript. What I'm hoping, I'm not going to go too deep, right, with every little detail. That's up to you to play with this as we go. But one of the very last things, I don't care if we're ready or not, that I'm going to show you how to do with this right now we're setting up this shell that's sitting there and it's the first thing fed out, right? That Ajax call, by the time we're done this class, it might be next week, it might be right the very last week, it might be finals, whatever, but we're going to do this. We're going to write some very simple, very small PHP script. And what that PHP script is going to do is it's going to look at somebody requesting the page and it's going to say, do I have a cached file of this? When's the last time it was cached? Yesterday? Good, I'm okay. Give them the HTML version. So in other words, they'll get that cached version. We're making that initial fallback cache version so that if that hiring manager goes to our site and they're security freaks and they don't allow JavaScript on their, right, they get something. They get something from us. And that's what's really important. No, they don't get the scrolling nav, unfortunately, you know, but they get something. I'm grabbing that code that I created out here with this. I'm going over to my sources for my index. I'm going to go ahead. I believe I went div to div. I did. I'm going to go ahead and just tuck that code away in here. And then I'm going to copy that code. I'm going to save it. And the reason I left IRP open, right, is so that I can easily just go make changes if I want to. And so I can come into here and I can update that as well. The thing is at this point, you can't try to get it to work on this site. And the reason I say that is because unless you write that class in here, and so if you want it to work on both sites, what else do you need to do? Anybody? Bring that style over. Make sure if you're doing it this way, I'm not requiring you to do it this way, but some of you might want to. You might want to use both sides. You might want it to, right? And so you need to bring that style that we did for this and just put it in your HTML down here. Embed it as HTML.
So that won't cause a problem.
It can, but one's going to overwrite the other. Right. So right. So it should not cause a problem. The other beautiful part about that is if we do it that way, you could almost look at it. But again, this is our profile site. This is our professional site. But at this point, because that's bringing that in, we should theoretically, what we're doing is attaching style to content, if you think about it. So theoretically, we should be able to take that away and it should still work. But the problem is it won't work unless JavaScript's working because the style is out there. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? So think about it. It's kind of a fallback on a fallback.
Is the style, is it in
No. All we did was write a CSS style, right? But because we have it out here, the point that I'm making, I removed it from here to demonstrate the idea. So if it's here, it's here, right? So meaning, are you kidding me? Is Chris still on? Yep, he's
Still here.
all right. I just didn't know if I was latency on what, right?
I love latency.
So we know that picture is going to work now because we have that there, right? And what'd be really interesting, Jimmy, is what we could do is just to demonstrate, right? We can put 500 by 500 in there, We know we have 150 by 150 over there, correct? Now let's pay attention. 150 by 150, 150 by 150, and I'm pretty sure that's because it overrode, because when it loaded the page first, it loaded the CSS file, right? And then when it loaded the content came in and it said, hey, that profile image, but let's go ahead and prove it out. 150, 150, save. Let's be silly. 1100 by, right, 1150 by 1150. And the cool thing about placeholder is it puts the image size in there in the text for you. So let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure it'll be 1150 by 1150 now. Nope. Yes, there it is. That's 1150 by 1150. Make it a little easier. Can't remember how to, you can actually tell it the image color. That might make it a little easier to see. Colors, how to set background and text color, popular hex colors, color. Come on, don't send me on a wild goose chase.
They have like a copy paste URL somewhere on.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm looking. I was hoping I would just find it. Like it would just be there. Let's find color. I honestly think it's like slash a color. I think that might be it. I got it. Right here it is, I think. Find out in a hurry.
It's regular, yeah, not placeholder.
That's it. I got it. I got it, hon. Got it. Got it. So let's do it this way so that it's just a little more, right? V, and we want it 150. Save. Over to here, 150. We're good there. Like empty cache and refresh. So it wins. So the nice part about that, though, again, back to our default. Our default site will display gray and whatever, right? But if we really wanted to change it in our content and not monkey with our code, we could actually manipulate it there as well. But at this point, really what we want to be doing is just setting our site up to be consistent. And our biggest reason that we're taking this approach versus others is why?
Gotta be more specific. What approach?
Well, why would we decide to put our image as a background image in our style as opposed to just out there on our site?
Personally, I do it just so it's in one place that I can just easily access it and change it without having to dig and dig.
That? Why else? And that's in some cases it's going to be a picture of her face, our hair, representing us. I don't want a low res image on a big ass screen with me all pixelated, and I want a nice image. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like at this point we're kind of ready here on this page to start considering And this is where, yeah, we would use a breakpoint, in my opinion. This is where we would use a breakpoint. One of the nice things with the breakpoint is, I thought I had Bootstrap open here. Get Bootstrap. Documentation. The index, grid, layout. Anybody remembers where breakpoints were listed? Let me know. Right there they are. At this point, I would take these. And it doesn't mean they have to stay there forever, but I would go ahead and take these at this point. I'm in here. And the idea is not to use these, remember, right? As much as humanly possible. But at least we know at this point that we should be able to break these down. And I think I grabbed the include statements, damn it. Grabbed the wrong ones, sorry. So tell me I can use these? That'd be nice if I can. I'm gonna try it. Because now if I go out there and I want to change that when I get to a tablet, right? I want that to go to a larger. What I can do here, I can go to iPad, and let's say I'm really narcissistic. Let's just say I really love myself, okay? iPad. I think this could be. $350. Let's see if that does it. Just going to go to responsive.
You changed the.
Can't see it. That's not working for me. So let's go find that breakpoint where we're at this point. Oh, that's part of the problem. So it goes down to small. Got to be careful of that too. Do you see the distortion there? See where this falls. That's large. X. Let's go into medium. Nothing. Um, 3. Actually, it might help if I change the size too, right? I agree. Nope. See if it applies. I don't think it's going to apply out here. So let's try their other media queries. I could have sworn we could use them. They're even telling us we can. Include media breakpoint. It's telling us we can use it. The small breakpoint should be portrait phones less than 576. Let's go give this a shot real quick. I sworn we could use them. All devices, phones, blah, blah. $350 by $350. We don't need to change the margin because we just always want it centered. At this point, we're at 7. Yeah, I'm perplexed why that's not changing for us. That should be changing for us. Save, let's refresh. Empty. Oh. I wonder. What we figured out the other day, Don?
Figure out.
Even if it reads to breakpoint, if you bring in the style after the fact, it'll say screw you to the breakpoint, right? I wonder if that's what our issue is. Let's change that to min. Save. Wait, it's kind of angry about that picture. I got to figure out what's going on there. What I would like you to do with yours, right? Play with the ideas that we're playing with here. I want to see if that takes care of that. I'd like you to submit with your homepage, which really isn't that much. But what I would like to see is that you've paid attention using Bootstrap or breakpoints, right? To make it so that it essentially landscape and honestly, for complete direction, what I want you to do, go ahead, use iPhone X, iPad, and then that desktop that I told you. I'll try to figure out what in the heck, why that's being so jerky, because now it's not showing up at all, which is a little confusing as well. Profile image. It's reloading right now. I just want to make sure the profile image is over here. Profile image. It's taking a while to reload. If you notice, that looks a little weird too. It's not saying. We had this problem the other day. That's good. That's good.
Could be that you had something in one of the others, see if they're not scrolling now. Maybe you're doing some kind of.
Nah, what's blowing me away is we're not even showing that style again. You see that? It's like it's pointing to a different place again. I want to go see what I did there. Real quick. Copy. I'm going to blow that away real quick. This is the only disadvantage I found to this. Once in a while, this just gets really stupid, really wonky on you. And I don't quite understand. I haven't been able to put it together like what is it that makes it so wonky kind of thing. But there we're clean again. Overrides, select folder. I'm gonna delete these guys. So we're clean. Select that folder, allow, overrides, enabled, page, styles, save for overrides, overrides. See, that's the weird thing. All, B, save, go. Now we're at least back in the business that we were in. Let's go grab that media query.
You cleaned out your style CSS file.
I cleaned out my cache, right?
Now you're back down to just HTML font size 100.
Yeah, why did that
Anyways,
happen? Seems like when this thing wants to go, it goes. But the question is, if that's the case, where's it pulling that style from? Because that's a background.
why can't you bring that up and,
Oh, no, it's not.
why can't you highlight it and, push the inspect on it? And it'll tell you where.
Well, I know exactly what's going on, done. Look. Remember, I'm working off of this local here. This is the other nice part about working in WordPress. Watch. There's that style I want. All I had to do was go in revisions. I need to override HTML. Come in here. We did that override on this. Is that? I can save that. Come out to my styles. If I refresh it now, the image should get wonky on me. So like that. Every once in a while, this override thing, it gets all wonky. So I just lost my overrides there. You got to be kidding me.
But it was pulling it in from your, WordPress site, right?
Well, my WordPress site, I got rid of the image. That's where it's a little confusing to me. You know what I mean? This is showing the image sitting there. Oh. You know what I forgot? I forgot that I changed everything up for class because we had to step backwards. And I'm pulling the wrong content in. What was the page?
I believe it was 7 and 28.
Is that what it was?
I believe so.